Hi, my name is Maddie Horgan, and I'll be talking about demons and diagnosis with a specific case study. Um, Demonic possession and mental illness have been a controversial topic for many years because of ambiguity. Ambiguity is when there is no clear answer, and it is left up to people to decide what fits better. And people with symptoms of demonic possession can can match up almost perfectly with someone with a mental illness. Some of those symptoms include missing memories, loss of control, or perceptual disbelief. And people come to the conclusions whether it's demonic possession or mental illness by the mechanisms of belief. There are many mechanisms of belief, but I chose 5 that really fit into this argument. And the first one is perceptual prime, and that is when your brain is going to see what someone tells you to see. For example, in class, we saw the picture of a bunch of dots on the screen, but when we were told that it was a Dalmatian, it was very hard to unsee the Dalmatian. And then the next thing is linear temptation, and that is when is a natural desire to find an answer, because people love to have an answer, and if something is not answered, they will go to different extremes to come up with an answer. And that goes hand in hand with confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when you use information and get it to line up perfectly with your conclusion. And sometimes that information might be not related fully. An illusory correlation is when two things happen at the same time, but they are not related, and people trying to make them become related. So, and then finally, belief preservation is holding on to what you believe even though all the evidence goes against you. So all of these mechanisms of belief are how people come up with an answer, and you can see that based on what you believe, it can be very distorted, sometimes very wrong, but it can also be true. And the story I'll be talking about is about a young girl named Danielle. This happened in 2011 in Winnipeg. Danielle had an interest in the supernatural from a young age. However, she was very religious, but began playing with Ouija boards and studying demonology behind her parents' backs. She later then left all of her religious beliefs and became a Satanist, and her friends became worried when she told them that she was attempting to summon demons every day. All of her attempts failed, but a year later she went back to the Ouija board and actually got a response. She asked the Ouija board how many people were there, and it moved to 3, and she asked if it would harm anyone, and the Ouija board moved to maybe. She got so freaked out that she left the room, turned the lights off, and waited for her friend to arrive. As she was waiting, she heard hissing and smelled a very faint burning smell. She developed a severe headache, and once she told her friend what happened, her friend drove her to the church, and she ended up blacking out in the car. At the church, she woke up in spasms, and she was unable to breathe and constantly choking. The priest there gave her an exorcism right then and there. She did not actually go through the full process that takes people months to get exorcisms, and she said it felt like something was trying to come out of me. My choking was so bad that I couldn't hear anything or anyone. Live about 2018. So an exorcism is an attempt to drive out evil spirits from a person or place, and Danielle herself did not have any memory of the exorcism. She began breathing normally afterwards, however, and there is no real evidence that the demons were driven out, because during the exorcism, only one demon spoke, but as you know, when she was in the Ouija board, apparently 3 demons were there. So she underwent 3 more exorcisms in future years, and she claims that the demons still live within her, and she has never had full relief. So on the mental illness side, this actually lines up with schizophrenia. Schizophrenia stands for split mind. People normally notice it in the ages between 18 and 30 years old, which is the perfect age range that Danielle was in. schizophrenia normally comes with a positive, negative, and disorganized symptom. A positive symptom is when something is added to you, for example, a hallucination, and in Danielle's case, it was seeing things and seeing the demons. And a negative symptom is when an ability is being taken away from you. And in Danielle's case, it would have been alogia. And the final symptom is disorganized, and that is when something becomes jumbled. So for Danielle, that was her speech and her ability to think, and just her overall behavior. Also, delusions are very common in schizophrenia. Almost 90% of people experience a delusion with schizophrenia, and Danielle experienced them more than one time. And hallucinations are also very common, and 80% of hallucinations in schizophrenic people are hearing, and Danielle heard voices just like a schizophrenic person would. She heard the demons talking to her and talking to each other. So in conclusion, this is still controversial. There is no real answer to her story. And if we use Occam's razor, which is the most reliable answer and realistic, I think she suffered from schizophrenia. But we will never know. And mental illness and demonic possession are still being argued today. There are many facts about it supporting both sides. But that is my conclusion for Danielle. And then here are my references. Thank you very much.